So often I hear people talking about fake until you make it, but I say, don't fake it till you make it, act like you belong. See, those statements are very similar, and yet the intention is completely different. When you try to fake it like you make it, you are more in the lying form, in the shadow, versus when you act like you belong, you are in the light. You show up how you are meant to be, or how you will be when you are meant to be part of that journey, of that circle, or maybe of that opportunity. And everything starts with a mindset of a super connector. So often I see people that have mastery in multiple things try to lead with each and every one of them, which creates a big problem because they become the person that is seen as jack of all trades. I'm sure you have met at least one or two of these people, right? When you meet them at the first meeting, they tell you everything that they can do for you, right? They can sell you a house, they can repair your pipe, they can babysit your kids, and they can fix your car. You don't know what to even ask them to do for you because the question comes, can they really do all those things well at the same time? And the truth is, it is possible. For example, when people usually ask me what I do, a lot of times it's a loaded question because I have been in business for over 20 years. I've have taken the time to create mastery in multiple different areas of business, but not at the same time. I took each time and each mastery and gave it the respect that it deserves. Whether it was advertising, whether it was strategic build outs, whether it was company turnarounds, whether it was consulting. And in each place, not only did I learn things the hard way, but I started getting a little bit wiser as my years stacked up and started paying for masterminds, for coaches, and then mentors because I didn't want to learn the hard way. Because the greatest thing that I learned through that process is that there's always a cost to whatever I wanted to achieve. The key question was, did I want to invest up front and save the learning curve and the additional cost of doing it the hard way? Or did I want to bypass the shortcut and learn the hard way, pay for the mistakes, and eventually even sometimes return to mentors and try to figure out why things didn't work? And so this is something that I want you to consider. Whenever you're trying to create mastery, is there a smarter way to do it? Is there somebody in your network that's already doing what you're doing? Or maybe there's a book that you have of somebody that's already done it and they're sharing their wisdom with you. See, one of the most underconsidered, underpriced assets that people dismiss are books because books are usually wisdom that's gathered over years, if not decades, boiled down into simple, actionable steps. Even though it only costs, remember, we talked about this, right? Maybe the hard cost of a book is $10, maybe $50 at its highest point, but the real cost is potentially years of a person's life, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I want you to see and look at books from a different perspective from now on. I hope that can be the key. Even if you can't invest into somebody's coaching or mentorship, I started my mentorship with books. And it wasn't long to know till I was able to not only get the coaches on board that I needed, but I started working with the mentors that wrote the books in the first place. To me, that was one of my pivotal moments that changed my life because some kid from a small city halfway across the world was working and collaborating with people that I never imagined. So becoming a super connector is the key. Don't be jack of all trades, become a super connector. Take that one thing that you're truly passionate about and allow that to be your mastery. Even if you can do other things quite well, lead with one thing. Create a result for that ideal client or that new relationship, and then move forward with them by sharing other things once you've created a result so that they can go ahead and create a relationship with you on results, not just promises. So when it comes to the mindset of a super connector, I always remember words of my dear friend. And he says this, and you'll know exactly who he is. Everything starts with a smile and a hello. I know it can seem scary. And the truth is, everything that's in your head that's going through your head right before you just smile and say hello is probably the same thing that goes through their mind. But they're focusing on their stuff and their nervousness and their moments of insecurities. So if you just tell yourself, or if you just listen to yourself internally, whatever is your mind or that inner child is sharing with you, oh, what if you're wrong? Or what if this? Or what if that? You just hear it out, right? You release it and then you just acknowledge it and say, thank you for sharing, whether out loud or just in your mind. And I'm going to choose to do this anyway. I really want you to think about that small exercise the next time you're about to approach a person that you would like to connect with. If you don't have those, what I call, negative thoughts, which I did have, right? I wasn't born knowing how to network. I wasn't great with connecting with people. It's something that my mom was great at and I've always admired. But in high school, I was a geeky kid that stayed to himself, worked with computers for the most part. I had a few friends, but I wasn't a social butterfly. And it's funny that now most people, when they meet me, the biggest thing that they ask me about, how do I have the relationships and the connections that I have? And the truth is, it's a skill that I've learned over time. And you can master it as well. That is why this training is called Network and Grow Rich, because it was the Harvard University, the 75-year study that talked about the fact that the greatest asset that brings the greatest fulfillment, the greatest happiness, and the greatest joy into a person's life is their relationships, right? They followed people for 75 years. Some were successful, some were not. Some went to college, some didn't. Some had great jobs, some didn't. And at the end of their life, after 75 years, on their deathbed or before, they said the biggest difference was the relationships that they've made and they kept. So now that we know that, how do we become better with the relationships? Remember, the first step is smile and say hello. They're not gonna bite. Here's a great exercise that I've learned that helped me to really anchor smiling anytime I walk into a room. And this is something that came from another friend and a mentor of mine. And he taught me this: take a piece of paper or a cue card and write smile in big letters. Make it very visible and make multiple of these cards. And what you do is you take these cards, you put double-sided tape or just regular tape on the card, and you put it on top of each door frame. So every time you walk into a room, You're reminded, smile, right? This is something that's simple, but it works. It reconnects the neurons in your brain to make sure that every time that you walk into a room, that you go ahead and smile, right? When we smile, we show other people that we're not a threat, that we are fun, and we're somebody that they might want to connect with. So when you smile, the next step is just to say yes or hello. It's amazing. After those two simple steps, the biggest problem that I usually get as an question or things that people can't come across through is, well, Alexi, it's simple for you to say yes, to smile and to connect with somebody because you're already successful. And that is true. But the biggest secret that I can share with anybody and everybody is this. The next biggest thing that you want to realize, that the value that you can bring to a new relationship does not have to be completely based on your success or on your own personal value. See, I talk about and actually do all the time is the three key moments or points that anybody can do in order to bring value to their relationship, right? Number one, can you bring a solution to that individual, right? What is the problem that they're struggling with or they're trying to overcome? And can you bring the solution to them? Can you be the solution maker or the person that can bring them the solution? If you can't, that's completely okay. Can you, the second part is, can you be the person that will connect them to their solution? Can you create a referral? Do you know somebody that can help them with their problem? Most people can do that. And even if you don't have a great network of people that you can connect people to, number three, you can become their champion. What do I mean by that? You can be the person that's looking for them to create that solution. Meaning, hey, I don't know anybody right now in my network that can help you solve this, but I'm going to check into my network and see if they may know somebody that can help you provide a solution. Anybody can do that. And I want you to think about that the next time that you're connecting with somebody, about adding value to them from a place of helping them to solve a problem versus just focusing on you and your success and whether you can be the only person that provides a solution. The next part I wanted to share with you, if you don't know it, it's going to be a breakthrough for you. But if you do, I really want you to pay attention and to really maybe highlight how important this is, because I do this all the time with everybody that I connect with. And it's the idea and the concept called FORM. FORM is actually an acronym for family, occupation, recreation, and then message. When you're connecting with a person, first and foremost, ask them about their family, right? And don't just ask them one question about family, create follow up questions. For example, let's say they say that, you know, they have wife and two kids. Great. What are their names? How old are their kids? How old is your wife? What is your wife like? What are your kids like? What do they like to do for fun? What is the most important things for them, in your interactions, right? Go deep, because this is the moment where they will see that you actually care about them, not about yourself. Next is occupation. What do they do for business or for work? What do they spend most of their time doing at work? What are the things that they love? What are these things that they don't love? And what are the things that they wish that could change? Now, the most important, and I think the funnest one, is recreation. What are they doing to have fun? What are they passionate about? What do they like to volunteer at? What do they do with their time outside work and family? Because that's usually will share with you what is truly important to that individual. It will connect you to their heart. And one of the biggest things that I always talk to my clients about, don't connect with your business, connect with your heart. See, the truth is when it comes to successful people, high net worth individuals, that whenever somebody connects with them, right, and whether they're doing real estate or it's another business deal or whatever, fill in the blank what you do, most likely they know somebody that does that, and maybe even 10 people that do that because they're successful. They surround themselves with successful people. So if you just approach them with what you do with your business, you maybe have one chance to really make an impact, maybe create a deal. Otherwise, you are done. But when you choose to connect with your heart, things change, right? Now you're the person that is asking about what they care about. They see you as a friend first. They will create that relationship with you, and then it will allow you to eventually share organically what is it that you do. And if there is a genuine collaboration or way that you guys can work together, trust me, you will, because people love working with people they know, like, and trust, with their friends if they can. I definitely know that I will love to work with somebody that I know that's doing something that I need versus somebody that I don't know, that I don't know who they are, what's important to them. So take that point into consideration when really talking about the recreation. What is it that's truly important to them? And last but not least is the message. What is the message and how do you structure it, right? Once you've actually learned about what's their family is like, what's their occupation is like, what's their recreation is like, now you can share a message which will usually lead them to how you can add value to their life. I call it your ethical bribe, or if you don't have an ethical bribe, right? This is the opportunity for you to share, hey, I would love to connect you with Sally because she also cares about, caring for the orphanages or caring for the animals, right? Because you're adding value first. You give first before you ask for anything in return. Because think of it this way, the best example that I can give when it comes to relationships, a lot of times, whether you realize it or not, relationships are like bank accounts. And instead of assets or money that you deposit relational capital. You deposit by giving them solutions to their problems or by connecting them with people that can connect them with solutions or problem, or even being a champion for the cause that's important and close to their heart. That's how you get attention of an individual.